Good evening, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Mayor and Council. Tonight is Monday, December 19th, 2016, and I'd like to welcome everybody that's either watching us from home or here today at Borough Hall. We will start by reading the Open Public Meetings Act. I hereby announce and request that such be included in the minutes of this meeting, that notice of the time, place, and date of this meeting has been prominently posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, mailed to the Times, the Star Ledger, the Courier News, the Patch, and the Alternative Press by January 10th, 2016, filed with the Borough Clerk, and mailed to any person requesting the same in accordance of the Open Public Meetings Act. I'd like for everyone to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd ask that you remain standing as we have tonight's invocation read by Mrs. Eleanor McGovern.
As we gather together tonight, we pray. Lord, during this time of family gatherings, celebrations, the giving of gifts, we ask that you fill us with the longing to understand the true meaning of this season. Your word tells us it is the season of anticipation, inspiration, compassion, forgiveness, gentleness, and hope. We long for these attributes. Show us how to integrate these qualities to enrich our lives and the lives of others. Open our eyes and fill us with your Spirit. Lord, we thank you for your Son and the gifts you have given us. We anticipate that the season of hope will fill us with understanding and joy. Amen.
Thank you. Good evening. We'll start tonight's meeting off with a roll call, please.
Kevin Morris.
Here.
Russell Goodall.
Russell.
Present.
Tom Kranz.
Still. Here.
Erin McElroy-Barker.
Here.
Catherine Mitchell. Here. Jack Molenaar.
Here.
Ian Moore.
Here. We will first approve minutes of several meetings that we have taken place over the last month. Our last regular scheduled council meeting of November 21st, 2016, we'll be approving those minutes. We had an agenda meeting on December 5th, 2016, a special meeting also that evening on December 5th, and we met as the Downtown Redevelopment Agency as well on December 5th, 2016. I have a motion on that.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm going to make my way over to the podium. Good evening. Good evening. It's very nice to see everybody here, and it's very nice to see a nice crowd at our last regular scheduled meeting of 2016. I think Mrs. McGovern's words were very appropriate for December in the month that what all of this means with the holidays and the gatherings, and how we hope that this month is filled with things and with memories that enrich our lives. So it's very appropriate, I think, to round out 2016 with a very special recognition for two men who have done so much for our community and are volunteers of the month. I'd like to call forward Doug Garminder and Frank Dietl, please. Along with Chief Picola. If you watch at home, or if you come to our meetings on any regular basis, you know that we do a Volunteer of the Month. And we start off our meeting with recognition for individuals who live in our community, that the Mayor and Council want to do that little extra something to let them know that their time and their good deeds do not go unnoticed. So December is a great month, right? It's full of, with Christmas and getting ready for Hanukkah and family events and just a really wonderful time of the year. So we thought, as we are anticipating Santa any day now, and we have just come off of our wonderful tradition of the Santa ride, around Fanwood, as we have experienced another tremendous successful year of our tree sale at LeGrand Park. And as we started the month off welcoming our community together to start the holiday season with the tree lighting and Santa's arrival underneath the tent, we thought, what a great opportunity to publicly thank two of his helpers. And what that really means to just not us as adults, but to all of our children of our community. And just not the children today, but the children from last year, the year before, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, of what you do. And it does not go unnoticed, and it really touches our hearts, and it is a tradition, I think, that is very deep. And you are the faces of that tradition, and you should be very proud of what you contribute to our community. Doug joined the Fanwood Fire Department in 1992, and Doug Germinder is, that last name has deep roots in our community, as his father, George, was a police officer here in town. And so the Germinders have always been giving back to the community, and we thank you for that. Doug is also a career firefighter in Plainfield, and he currently holds the rank of lieutenant. He's extremely active in Fanwood's training department, bringing his experience and expertise in vehicle extrication to keep Fanwood firefighters at the top of their game in times of emergencies. He spent the last 20-plus years doing fire prevention at our schools and in our firehouse. And as someone who is now raising 3 boys going through grammar school, I can tell you that they've all cycled through either at the schools or here. Doug has personally been working with Santa for the last 18 years, and that's a really long time. And Santa really thanks him for that detail. And for the last several years, he's also worked on the Borough's Christmas tree celebration at the train station. He's got a wonderful wife in Mary Ann. He's got 2 daughters, in Abby and Grace, and 1 son in Doug Jr. So to Doug, we say thank you for everything that you do, and we wish you and your family a wonderful Christmas, and I believe that Santa's going to be really good to all of you this year. So, I'm going to give you this. Now, Frank is another good confidant of Santa and has been working with Santa for several years. Frank joined the fire department here in 2001, and he currently holds the rank of captain. He's extremely active in the fire department, and his love of Christmas and Santa has really made him a go-to person when they have to navigate the streets of Fanwood on the fire truck. Frank knows what needs to get done, and he does it. He's been an officer for over 10 years and leads the Officer for Mutual Aid. He also does radio and tech here for us. He's got an awesome wife, Emily, and his son, Jackson. And again, I just want to publicly thank you. As someone who is raising children here, you personify everything that's great about living in Fanwood, from your volunteer work at the fire department, and in this time of year, helping out Santa, helping out with the sales, and really just being that person that we can count on. As I was getting ready to come here tonight, and kind of switching hats from working and being a mom and like coming over here, I realized that so many of you do the same thing that I do. We work, we raise our families, and then we give back to our community. So I want to publicly thank you. I want to thank the chief for really cultivating and holding dear a really good group of men. Job well done. And so this is for you. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say the Santa detail is something we really enjoy to do. The weather didn't cooperate very well this time of year, this time around. So We got through it. These guys worked really, really hard. Everybody worked really hard. The rescue squad, the police department, we had 2 police officers that volunteered their time, Officer Dan Bacall and Officer Dan Kranz. They also spent 7 or 8 hours doing this. So, but I appreciate it. Thanks. I'd just like to thank the community for their cooperation, trying to get the kids out and moving along. It just needed to be done quicker this year. Maybe next year we can take a step back and take a slower pace. But I thank everybody for all their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. You talked about my father, and I was born and raised in Fanwood. And Chief McCall called me today and asked me, how many years do you have here? And while we were going over the rough estimates, I recalled that I started with the Santa probably back in 1983. My first experience was riding along in a police car with my father, with a little tape player playing Christmas music over the PA. And it was many, many years ago, but every year it's just as exciting. Some of you guys have delivered, or we've delivered presents to.
Yep.
And every year, and it's a lot on the body. I'm aching today. Good thing I had a vacation day today. But every time you see the bright faces looking up at you and you get the hugs, it's worth everything. So hopefully I'll get to continue on and doing it. And now I have my daughter's helping out.
Yes.
As one of Santa's elves, and that's a great experience also. So wanted to thank everyone for the opportunity.
Thank you. And yes, and so a nice shout out to Abby and Grace, who for the last several years have actually helped Santa greet all of the kids that come through the tents and give out little candy canes and help move them along, because we have a really long line. And you're just raising another generation, that's a part of this town, so that's an awesome thing. So another please round of applause for our fire department, for our police department, which is led by Richard Trigo, who gives them support, unwavering support, and to the Fanwood Rescue Squad, who is always along for the ride, as we know. So thank you very much. We have one special proclamation, and I'm glad there's a lot of our first responders here, because they know this woman very well, and know her face and all that she has done for our community, and she is now retiring. I'd like to call up Jennifer Rickey, who's the Executive Director at the Chelsea. I'd also like to call forward Councilman Kranz, who has known Jennifer for years and also has the distinction of actually working with her at the Chelsea. So to a lot of the fire and the police and the rescue squad, they know you very well. Sorry. As our assisted living facility in town, and it's always one that sees action. But the Chelsea is also a place that has given back to our community, and has given back specifically to the police department and the fire department and the rescue squad, especially after Superstorm Sandy. But for over the years, you've always been a safe haven for our residents. You are, as the chief can attest to, the go-to person when we need a cooling station or a warming station. You're always have been there. And after 17 years of leading the Chelsea here in Fanwood, she's retiring to spend some time with her family. And that's a really noble and awesome thing that you're able to do. But we didn't want to let you leave without really a little public recognition, because I've been here as the mayor for 13 years. And Jennifer was someone that I met, really right away, who had only been working there a couple years at that point. And so we've continued to remain friends and had children and sort of grow in our positions. But Jennifer's been a really good neighbor to Fanwood. The Chelsea has been a really good neighbor to Fanwood, and so we just have a proclamation, and we wanted to just publicly read into the minutes, and then Tom has a few words. Jennifer's role, as I said, is as the executive director, has enabled her to be a good neighbor to Fanwood by opening up Chelsea's doors when we need it the most, by allowing local organizations to hold meetings in the facility, welcoming all of our emergency management services to use the facility, and even to accommodate individuals from our community overnight if need be. You are the recipient of the Fanwood Police Benevolent Association Silver Award, and you've received other acknowledgments for her generous spirit and her kind heart. Fanwood was blessed to have a very caring and compassionate and competent individual who was really committed to the health and welfare of all of our residents, as well as her Chelsea family and the facility and really the individuals that you take good care of. You've set a very high bar of excellence here. You will be greatly missed by our community as a whole, I think by our emergency management personnel, and really by the residents of Fanwood. When you opened up the doors of the Chelsea to allow the community as a whole in, that was a very welcoming sign. Maybe we've taken advantage of it over the years, but it's a nice place in a small town. We don't have many places to meet sometimes. But here today at this meeting, I am therefore be it resolved that I, Colleen Marr, as the Mayor of Fanwood, do hereby proclaim December 19th, 2016, Jennifer Ricky Day in the Borough of Fanwood. And we're here to recognize your accomplishments, to thank you for your support and assistance during the 17 years of your leadership here at the Chelsea, and that a proclamation is going to be read as we did into the minutes and spread across the town. So, congratulations, Erin.
Thanks, Mayor. My first contact with the Chelsea was on a snowy night in January of 1994, when my wife and I moved to Fanwood, and the night before we settled, we actually stayed in the building that is now the Chelsea, which at that time was a Best Western motel. So my ties go back 23 years to that building. I became an EMT just about the same exact time that Jennifer started working there as executive director. So we started seeing each other on rescue squad calls, and then suddenly in 2008, I worked there. So I just can't seem to shake the Chelsea. It's part of my DNA now, I guess. Jennifer is much more than an executive director. To me, she's been a friend. I think that both of us feel the other has been a person we could go to and tell secrets to and just kind of dish a little bit and just be kind of co-workers. But the bottom line for Jennifer is that she really cares about people. I'll never forget that during Hurricane Sandy, the Chelsea does not have a backup power generator because it was built before those were standard operating procedure. The building had no power, and with medical aides and nurses running up and down delivering drugs, delivering medications to the residents, delivering meals in the dark, no elevators, running up and down steps and taking care of dozens and dozens of residents in the dark. She also took care of our police officers with meals, put some of them up overnight so they could take showers because they were working long hours. And that's just kind of part of what she does. I don't think she thought anything of it, but I know the police chief, fire department, and the rescue squad really appreciate the fact that she's always been there for us, and we're really going to miss you. And I'm going to miss my friend.
I know.
So take care.
Thank you.
Just wanted to say to everyone here, you're such a vital part of this community, and it's ironic that it's an assisted living facility, but you assist us more than we could ever thank you for. Like you said, she prepared meals for the police department and fire department, put some of our officers up overnight, and whenever we have a storm, and I actually called her the other day, part of our emergency service protocol, we have a weather event that's going to be taking place. I always contact the fire chief, DPW, rescue squad, and the mayor to let them know what's going on. Via text, let's stay in touch. Right as soon as I send that text, I always call Jen to see, you know what, how could we help you? How could we help each other? And she's always been there. And Tom alluded to that they didn't have a backup generator at the time of Hurricane Sandy, but I guess
We have it now.
we have it now from busting enough, calling a lot of people. But you were very instrumental in getting that, and you don't know what a relief that is, knowing that you'd be self-sufficient and we could just count on you. So we are going to miss you. I just hope whoever takes over for you, I will try to get that same relationship. But believe me, our loss is your family's gain, and you should be very proud of your wife and your mom there. So Jen, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Marr and Councilman Tom Kranz. It's actually been an honor, my honor and pleasure, to have served Fanwood, to have been in the situation that I've been. I'm very fortunate to have such support. Not many other executive directors or even communities can say that they've had such amazing support and relationships with the fire department, the police department, the mayor. So really, you made my job a lot easier, and for that I thank you all, and thank you for this honor, because it truly is an honor. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that was I think, an awesome way to start off our last meeting of the year. We have one other proclamation that I will ask Councilman Bars to read, which is, I guess, the drive sober or get pulled over proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the proclamation, Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over 2016. And do you want to go to the mic or right here?
That's fine.
Okay. Whereas impaired drivers on our nation's roads kill more than 10,000 people each year and cost our society more than $37 billion annually. And whereas 29% of motor vehicle fatalities in New Jersey in 2014 were alcohol related. Whereas an enforcement crackdown is planned to combat impaired driving. Whereas the season at the end of the year is traditionally a time of social gatherings which often include alcohol. And whereas the State of New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety has asked law enforcement agencies throughout the state to participate in the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over 2016 year-end holiday crackdown. And whereas the project will involve increased impaired driving enforcement from December 9th, 2016 through January 1, 2017. And whereas an increase in impaired driving enforcement and reduction in impaired driving will save lives on our roadways. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fanwood Police Department declares its support for the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over 2016 year-end holiday crackdown from December 9, 2016 through January 1, 2017, and pledges to increase awareness of the dangers of drinking and driving.
Thank you for reading that, and we hope that individuals this holiday season actually are smart in the age of Uber, not to get behind the wheel after they've had a few holiday cocktails. Okay. So we're going to move on. We have no correspondence, and we're going to go right into council reports, and we'll start off with Councilman Hubel for Administration and Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the tax collector's report for the month of November 2016. The collections for the month were totaled $6,167,978.71. That brings the total collections for 2016 year-to-date amount $31,539,547.96. So I'll move the collector's report this time.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So we're ending, oh, that was November at a 98% collection rate.
Yes.
Very good. Honestly, very, very good for our residents and very good for our administrative team. All right, next?
Yes. I also have the payment of claims report, and it is resolved that claims in the amount of $3,980,736.20 having been listed on the bill list and recorded in the files at Borough Hall and approved by the chairman of the appropriate committee are to be paid. I'll move that.
I have a second on that. Make a roll call, please.
Mr. Hubel?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Kevin Lewis?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Jeff Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And in addition to the collector's report and the payment of claims, I have the fire chief's report for the month. which was 24 total calls for service, including 6 smoke detector calls, 5 fire alarm fires, but no actual fires, and 2 natural gas leaks. And the chief reported no injuries for the month of November. And Kathy, did you know for the Santa Run, they made 375 stops?
I am very impressed,
That's a really
and I
good
give
thing.
them all the credit in the world,
So,
and especially Santa.
so I can report that it was 375 stops.
Awesome.
And a lot of happy children.
There are a lot of children in family.
Right.
Okay.
And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Councilman Bars?
Thank you, Mayor. No report this month, except for one very important announcement. I would like to take my hats off to the police department. There was a multi-jurisdictional investigation into some burglaries that happened in Fanwood that were solved. And we are talking multi-jurisdictional all the way out to Long Island. I don't know how much I can say, other than it's been referred to the prosecutor. So hats off to our police, hats off to all our detectives. They do a very good job, they follow up on everything, and thank you to them. And that's all I have for this month.
Okay. Moving on, Councilwoman McElroy-Barker?
So the next rec commission meeting is, oh, she just skipped you. The next rec commission meeting is tomorrow night. But the biggest thing in the last month was the holiday celebration on December 4th, with the tree lighting at the end, with Santa and the crafts and treats. Apparently the line for Santa wrapped around the tent, and all the kids were very excited. So that went off quite well. And the next rec commission meeting is tomorrow night, and we'll be addressing, again, the planning for the Forest Road Park renovations.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Molenaar, my apologies for skipping over you for Public Works.
It's okay. Public Works obviously is doing a lot. Just did their first salting for the snow, so we got through one small little storm, so that's good. A couple other things that they do. We had Small Business Saturday. What was that? The Saturday after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
And Public Works crew dropped off some tables and chairs and helped out with that event. They're done with the leaf pickup. Each resident received an average of 6 leaf pickups, so that was, so please, if you have leaves, do not put them out until the next leaf pickup will be in April 2017. So hold on to them, we'll get back to you in April. They also put up some winter banners along South Avenue. They put wreaths up to celebrate the holidays. They helped out with the tree lighting. They also did some de-icing, and they got everything ready to help us for the winter time. We also had a Public Works Committee meeting, and at that meeting we talked about some of the projects that are be going on next year. The gas company will be back in Fanwood next year, and will be doing more work on the gas lines and changing them to high pressure lines. Some areas in town have already been done. Next year, they'll be working in the area that's our southwestern quadrant, which is bordered by LeGrand, King, Martine, and Terrell. Got that?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
The Grand.
Grand,
My
King,
hood.
Martine, and Terrell.
Yes,
They're
the
not coming
LeGrand
down.
Park area.
You're not coming down the Grand. I mean, we just paved that, right?
I don't-
We striped that.
No, you said bordered by.
Oh, bordered.
Bordered
okay.
by.
Meaning all
I was
the
paying
streets in
attention.
between,
Yes.
which were already repaved, dug up and repaved.
That's why it's always fun to try to do road jobs when the water company and the gas company is also doing work at the same time. Makes it challenging. With that, Poplar Place is going to be a road that we'll be doing in 2017. It'll get just full reconstructed paving and Belgian block curbing. It already has curbing, so it's, but it needs to be completely reconstructed. We're almost done with Public Works property, some environmental work. We should have our last, what's called our RAO, Remedial Action Outcome, should be given to us during 2017 for that property. And we're looking, we are getting costs and hopefully to get new poles up so we can put banners up across the road. We don't have the banner across the road because the poles that we had on it were not that safe anymore, and we didn't want an accident to happen. So Clint Dixon, our Public Works Director, gave me a nice video of what it looked like the last time, so we decided to perhaps put in a better solution and not put one there after we now know that it might be a problem. So I think that's a good thing. And that's about it for Public Works. And Planning Board just met briefly last month, and we have nothing on our agenda this month, so the Planning Board's not meeting in December. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilman Kranz.
Thanks, Mayor. I did not make the Board of Health meeting this month, but looking through the minutes, I don't think there were any major issues that were dealt with. Excuse me. I just wanted to update everybody on Channel 24 and Channel 35. Fanwood Community Television has been rocking on, thanks about 101% to Michael Lewis, who's hiding in the back of the room back there. Michael's been keeping up really well with our on-screen announcements. He's been taking down the old ones in a timely fashion, putting up new ones. He's over there pretty much every day. He's figured out to put programming on during the day that's some of our greatest hits. I think we've been running some of the train programs, some of the Plainfield and some of the historical programs. And in the evening, when people are home, we're trying to run our council meetings and events that have happened within the last weeks or couple months, so that the most recent stuff is actually being shown in prime time, as it were. Our next missions will be to get a program guide out that'll be published on the web, hopefully sometime early next year. And then one day soon, high definition will come to Fanwood Community Television. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. That's my report.
That sounds great.
We kind of get high definition.
I know. I mean, we used to use VHS tapes.
It's the 90s, baby. We're getting into the
I mean, we
90s.
used to use VHS tapes.
You're going to get more than 24 pixels, right?
Okay, thank you. Council President Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me see, the seniors, they did not really have a meeting this month, but they did have their annual Christmas party, and a good time was had by all. Several of us attended, and it was at Snuffy's, and it was a very nice time. Shade Tree does not meet until Wednesday. I also went to the library board, and most of the discussion there was regarding the resolution that was suggested at the agenda meeting. And we're going to be hearing more about that tonight. Is that correct,
It's on the agenda.
Councilman? Okay, that's what I thought. So I won't go into it any further. And then the rescue squad, they had 58 calls for the month. 18 were for sick persons, 17 calls, motor vehicle or trauma, 8, respiratory or cardiac events, 6, and 2 public relations events. Most of the people who needed transportation went to Overlook. I see one went to Morristown. That's kind of unusual.
We go to Morristown maybe half a dozen times a year.
Yeah, I don't usually see that one. And of course, the other area hospitals, JFK, Trinitas, and Robert Wood. Oxygen was used twice, and they also, mutual aid with Scotch Plains 7 times, and they did a demo for Boy Scout troop during the month. And let me see, they were also on standby for one of the football teams at the high school. And that completes my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, so, and now I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to make a comment at this point. Can be on agenda items.
Can it be other than agenda items?
Yes, you can. We're easy.
We're pretty lax.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was later.
Speak for
It
yourself.
is, we have two times that the public can speak.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Tom Patterson, 2 Judy Lane in Scotch Plains. I'm here tonight. I'd like to talk about the proposal for cell phone companies to install antennas on and to place support buildings at the base of the PSE&G towers in our communities. In my area, we received a registered letter on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and it notified us of a Scotch Plains Zoning Board meeting December 1st for a variance to allow new singular wireless to install cell phone antennas on Tower 17, which is near Terrell Middle School, along with a building for the electronics and an access way to the area. Cellular equipment is not permitted in a residential zone. We checked with the Office of the Zoning Board to find out which residents were mailed the letter, and then the following Monday, we walked the neighborhoods and we found out that less than a third of the residents actually had received it, mainly because of the holiday weekend, and it was a registered letter. And they had the note put in their mailbox and it hadn't been returned yet, and the meeting was that Thursday. The meeting was also scheduled for the same type of installation next to Ashbrook Nursing Home on Raritan Road, but there wasn't enough time at that meeting due to old business for it to be heard. So it's been tabled until the January 5th meeting. Our group discussed the proposal with the AT&T representative, and he told us that other carriers were working on proposals for other towers throughout Scotch Plains and Fanwood. Our objection to the antennas, the buildings, and the access ways are that they're in residential neighborhoods. But we already have giant towers that are 35 feet taller than the old towers at 140 feet, and now they want to put 12 antennas on each tower for a total of 159 feet, along with a 34 by 20 foot fence compound and a 10 by 20 foot parking area next to it, and also to provide access for each. This is going to adversely affect the character of our neighborhoods and our communities. It'll have a negative effect on our property values. As you know, real estate is based on perception. Studies have shown that real estate values could be reduced 15 to 20% on average, whether the threat of constant radiation is real or perceived by buyers. Whereas the carriers may argue the emissions are not dangerous, what are the potential adverse health impacts associated with being subjected to continuous RF radiation 24/7, 365? Some studies say it's safe, and others contradict that. So we feel that the installation should not be made in residential areas. There are many other parts of the country that this view is shared. Recently, the installations in Westchester County and in Long Island, New York, have been in the news. The cellular company should be able to make their installations in commercial areas and not near our homes. We have an email address if you'd like to contact us. The address is nocaiRn20@gmail.com, and that stands for no cell antennas in residential neighborhoods. So, thank you for giving me the opportunity to put out the word a bit more, because we found that most people are completely unaware of this.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. If you want to leave a copy of what you have here,
Certainly.
For Mrs. McGovern, I think that would
Yeah,
be
we're
great.
planning on handing out flyers this week, and just to make people more aware of possibly what's in the works.
The description that you gave of the number of towers, the additional height, and at the base, is that in one location?
Yes, that's per location. They want to put 12 antennas per tower. Now, it's not each tower, but they're not sharing
Public
services.
Service wants to allow 12.
Yes, but they're not sharing services on the towers. New Cellular Wireless, which is AT&T, would be on a tower. Verizon would be on another. Apparently Verizon's waiting to get on the tower by the railroad at Terrell and South, because they now have a temporary tower in the Young Paint and Varnish property.
Yes,
There's another temporary tower at Parker Greenhouse,
right,
and there's another one down by Ashbrook Nursing Home.
right.
And, but in each one, there would be a support building, an equipment building. And that building and other parts of the equipment to house the electronics and the power supplies and everything for the antennas would be 34 by 20 feet. And they're also allowing the parking space. And in our case, I live on, like I said, on Judy Lane. Judy Lane is a very quiet cul-de-sac. It's off of Terrell Road. Briarcliff Drive leads into Judy Lane. Briarcliff is not, there's no through street.
Right.
There's no exit. And really, the only time we get traffic is someone from the neighborhood,
Right.
or if somebody's lost, or that type of thing. And this would result in a lot more commercial traffic, also with all the support vehicles.
going to there, and they want to make access, in my case, on Judy Lane, and run it all the way down to the tower.
So let me ask you this, and I don't know if you know necessarily the answer, but, prior to them doing the new monopoles, when they
Yes.
had the lattice towers, there were cellular providers
Yes.
that were on them. We
Right.
had them, they were temporarily relocated, with these, like
Right.
by Young's Paint, then they would go back on.
I don't know what the situation was with that. I know that in this case, they need a variance to go on the tower, primarily because of the height. The height's going to be 159 feet. The new towers are 35 feet taller
Right,
than the
yeah,
old towers.
right.
And also, they need the variance for the building in a residential area.
Jack, are we seeing anything at the planning board that size?
Well, our towers are all the same size as Scotch.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, not the monopole size, the size of the number of co-locator antennas being allowed, or the stuff on the ground.
You always get the stuff on the ground because that goes with the equipment. They come once a month. This is something that was litigated in Fanwood back in 2004.
Oh, right, I remember.
The planning board approved it. This is on a tower that's now a monopole in Kevin's neighborhood between Oak and Elm. It was approved by the planning board in '03. The mayor and council in '03 overturned the planning board. The cell company then went to court and got it overturned, and it was put in. We currently allow cell companies to use existing towers. We encourage them to use all existing towers so we wouldn't get new towers, regardless of where the towers are.
Mayor, if I could just jump in.
And Kevin
real
knows a
quick.
lot about this, too.
No, I remember.
This gentleman is from Scotch Plains, and we have our own wireless ordinance here, and
Yeah.
we do our own thing here. This gentleman's from Scotch Plains, and thank you for coming, and thank you for informing us. More knowledge is always better knowledge. This is different from what we experience here in town.
Well, that was, my point was, I didn't know, he had mentioned up to 12 were locating on a single
Yes.
monopole. That was really my question.
That's what
We've
Public
seen at the
Services,
planning
they
board
told me, up to 12
multiple like this. I don't
antennas.
think we have, right? I think we're talking 1 or 2.
Well,
We haven't seen 12.
There's FCC regulations that allow for co-location. If you have an existing pole in town, FCC regulations encourage co-location. So if you have one single pole, there are regulations that say it should probably exist on that pole and not go elsewhere. So if you have one pole in town, let's pretend it's in Fanwood for right now, and we have one pole in town in Fanwood, and a wireless carrier comes to Fanwood and says, we would like to co-locate here. There are FCC regulations that encourage that,
Right,
because
I
they don't
understand.
want other poles. So if there's 1 or 12 antennas, and when we're talking antennas, we're talking like 6 feet by 2 feet, things that are about this big.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know, so more of them on one pole is better. So when we're worried about 12 on one pole, that's what we should be encouraging. We should be encouraging in Fanwood co-location.
That's what they explained to us, the AT&T rep explained to us, that PSE&G was limiting the number of antennas to 12 per pole. And that at this time, they weren't going to share services between cellular companies. These two ones that the new cellular wanted to do, they were just going to be for them. It wasn't going to be a case of where they would put their antennas up, and then 6 months later, somebody else would put their antennas up, or share the antennas that are already there. And another thing with shared services on a pole, one thing that it does do is it increases the traffic to that pole, because you may only have a service van coming out every 4 to 6 weeks to do normal maintenance, but if you have 6 carriers on that pole, you're going to have 6 times that.
Again, sir, you're talking about a pole in Scotch
Right,
Plains.
right. And I don't know
And
what the regulations in Fanwood are, but the reason I'm here is talking to acquaintances
Sure.
and people from Fanwood. They come up and down the right-of-way all the time, walking their dogs, that type of thing, and I'll talk to them and I'll say,
do you know that there's a proposal to put antennas on the pole, and they're appalled.
Right. No,
You know,
I-
and it's,
That's why
I
we
don't
have
know
public meetings.
what would happen in Fanwood, whether the residents would be against it,
Right.
something would be changed or whatever, but my main purpose was just to put it out there, and,
More information is always better, and we appreciate you coming.
right. And we'll be getting more information at the zoning board meeting on January 5th. You know, this was just from one meeting, and we did have to pull all the information out of different sources. Nobody was really volunteering a lot of information on the whole scene. And I don't know if something has changed with the placement of these antennas from the old towers to the new towers. Now they need a variance to get
Right.
those antennas that are on temporary poles up on these towers. And it's mainly because of the height, and it's because of the size of the building that they want to put there. But,
Well, thank you again for coming out. Like I said, if you'd like to leave any information or forward it to Eleanor
Okay.
by email, we'll make sure it's on the record.
okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to come up? Seeing that there isn't any, may I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have one piece of old business, which Councilman Ugal will move. It's a second reading public hearing on a bond ordinance, amending our bond ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'll call up for a second reading ordinance number 16-19S, and request the clerk, having produced the affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
It's a bond ordinance amending bond ordinance number 1601S, finally adopted by the Borough Council of the Borough of Fanwood, New Jersey on March 7, 2016.
I move that public hearing be held on said ordinance.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a second as
Second.
well. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to make comment on this amending of our bond ordinance. Seeing that there isn't any, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I move that the hearing be closed. Sorry.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law.
Okay, may I have a second, please?
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Leslie Hupel,
Yes.
John Kranz,
Yes.
Kevin Boris,
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker,
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Molenaar,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, under new business, under administration and finance, Councilman Ugal.
Okay. 14 items.
14?
I'm gonna do it.
You're busy tonight, Russ.
At the end of the year.
I may need a cup of hot tea, but I'll do it. So, first couple of housekeeping things for item number one. We're going to make a motion to take item number one off the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And then the second housekeeping item on item number one, we're going to amend a paragraph, the language. There was a much later version of this resolution that was submitted that didn't seem to find its way to the packet. I don't know, I think it was sent to you on Friday, but I see the older version here in the packet, so.
I don't have the new, this is the same.
Okay, so,
This one, that's it.
No, I'm just saying.
So,
all right,
so Dan, should I make a motion with the new language? or- Okay, so on the, on the fifth paragraph, the final whereas paragraph, starting from striking encourages the Friends of the Library, the nonprofit organization for the Fanwood Library. This is on Resolution 16-12-198. We're going to amend the language. It's going to say authorizes the Fanwood Library Board of Trustees to start to raise funds based on the renovations and expansion plans presented to the governing body so as to mitigate the full cost to the taxpayers of the borough. So I'll move
Okay,
to
so-
amend that.
So the governing body authorizes,
The Board of Trustees.
Authorizes as opposed to encourages, is that what the change is?
Yes.
And we
That's
also
the one.
changed it to the Board of Trustees and took out Friends of the Library because the board is appointed by mayor, and this is a resolution mayor and council, where the Friends is a private nonprofit.
and then to start to raise funds, and then it's the same.
Right.
Yes.
okay, is there any comments on the change?
think it's a good change.
Okay, all right, so we needed a motion on making
So-
that change?
Yeah, I did move
And I
that.
had a second from Kathy, then, all right, do we need
I
to
think-
just vote on that change, that amendment, Daniel?
Yes.
So
Okay.
I'll just move the resolution as amended. Dan?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll-
Second, again, I second it.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I
I'll-
beat you to it.
So I'll move resolution
They're my
16-12-198.
All right, Kathy gets the
Okay,
second.
and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so that's that. So moving along to item number 2, resolution, I'll move resolution 16-12-182. This is to authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the redevelopment agreement with Station Square.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
No, this is, roll call.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, so Kevin had his second, and then, roll call, please.
Russell Yuko,
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Tom Cranz,
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker,
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jack Molenaar,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, I'll move resolution 16
Excuse me, Counsel, before we move on, on Resolution 16-12-198,
Oh, okay.
we voted to approve the changes in the language, but we didn't actually vote on the actual resolution, correct? Or is that what that second vote was?
I thought, well, Dan, I
Dan?
thought we moved it as amended.
Okay, I meant to abstain to that vote.
Okay, so let the minutes reflect the councilman's abstention from that.
Thank you.
Okay, now moving back on, we're at 183.
Yes, so I move resolution 16-12-183. This is amending a previous resolution, 16-08-118, for the kids grant obligation. There was a change in the grant, I think it was increased, Eleanor, so we had to slightly increase our
We had increased
match.
ours, but it was decreased by the county, so we had to increase ours.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got
Oh,
it,
okay.
I misspoke.
okay.
We got a decrease from the county, so we, I think it's $4,000, we had to increase our contribution.
Second.
Okay, may I have a roll call, please, on that amendment?
Russell Yuko,
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Tom Cranz.
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker,
Yes.
Jack Molenaar,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, I'll move resolution 16-12-184. This is to amend our agreement with the PMUA with our recycling pickup. This is just, I think we're acquiring a few more containers. There's 184.
So, I just didn't understand, there was it was 2,400, it was 2,481 was the number of carts, and then it was increased to 2,400? Am I just being,
No, that would be a
Down.
decrease.
right,
No, it was.
so what's so the numbers don't work in the resolution?
I don't remember, at the agenda meeting, I don't remember, we said how many containers it was. Do you remember, Tom?
I don't, I
I
just
don't.
remember that we didn't have enough.
Right.
I don't remember what the first number was.
Right. It's not that many.
It was probably 2,500 instead of 2,400, so it's probably 2,500. I believe that's what it is, that's what that.
Which would be
that
19.
rate is based on.
Okay,
So
This is the amount anyway that they're asking for us to have.
an additional
Oh, that's the amount they're asking for?
$1,000 annually.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
So I moved that.
Have a second on that?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Russell Yuko,
Yes.
Tom Cranz.
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker,
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Jack Molenaar,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, I'll move resolution 16-12-185. This is to authorize a refund of overpayment on taxes.
A second, may I have a roll call, please?
Russell Yuko,
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Kevin Boris,
Yes.
Tom Cranz.
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker,
Yes.
Jack Molenaar,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, I'll move resolution 16-12-186. This is extending the contract of our engineer.
Okay. To the end of January 31st, right?
Yes.
All right, may I have a second, please?
$2,027.
Second.
All right, may I have a roll call, please?
Russell Yuko.
Yes.
Tom Cranz.
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker,
Say yes.
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell? Yes. Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And next I'll move, this one always pops up every year, annually, Resolution 16-12-187, cancellation of unexpected balances.
I'll second that.
Budget.
May I have a second? May I have a roll call, please?
Russell Hugo?
Yes, to
Jack
reclaim the
Molenaar?
money.
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, I'll move Resolution 16-12-188. This is to authorize an emergency appropriation for COA planning fees.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And next I'll move Resolution 16-12-189. This one usually occurs every time this year. Transfers in our 2016 budget.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next I'll move Resolution 16-12-190. This amends our contract with our borough attorney. I believe this is for work associated with COA.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And next I'll move Resolution 16-12-191. This is to authorize our drive sober or get pulled over. Is this to authorize a program, or is it?
It's a chapter
It's
159.
the grant,
It's
it's
the
the
grant.
underwrite the
Yeah.
cost of the police to do the,
Right.
that special.
Awareness.
Yes, from the state. Second, okay?
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next I'll move Resolution 16-12-192. This is amending a contract to our grant writer, Millennium
Yeah,
Millennium Strategies, yes,
Okay, I have a second from Kathy. May I have a roll call, please?
or the Millennium
Russell
Fund.
Hugo?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next I'll move Resolution 16-12, hold on,
Okay.
-193.
Okay, Rubio.
What is wrong with you?
It's just, it's like, there's 15 items here.
Just showman.
So anyway, -193, this is to amend the contract to our tax appeal attorneys, Colombo and Renaud.
Okay, may I have a second on that?
Second.
And may I have a roll call, please?
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then finally, I'll move Resolution 16-12-194. This is to authorize our participation in the 2017 Municipal Alliance Grant.
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you, good job. Moving on to Councilman Barrs, you have, I think, one resolution, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I move Resolution 16-12-195. That is for the approval of the towing license for George Church.
Second.
And may I have a roll call, please?
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Councilman Molenaar, you have one resolution
And
to
I
pass
move
tonight?
Resolution 16-12-196. This is to do some core samples on Poplar Place, which I brought up during the Public Works Committee. See what it all ties in.
Second that.
May I have a roll call, please?
Jack Molenaar?
Yes.
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Erin McElroy-Barker?
Yes.
Tom Kranz?
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Councilwoman McElroy-Barker, you have one resolution?
So I move Resolution 16-12-197, the awarding the contract to DBRC and Seminar Design Improvements to the Community House.
Second.
Can I just ask a question what they're doing?
I was just gonna ask that same thing.
Well, I think they had a meeting with Aaron Coos, and then they were talking about the things that had to be done at the community house, which is to preserve the foundation. That was one of the things.
The long
deck
discussed
in the front.
foundation.
He's gonna design it. He's gonna design it.
Got it. That's good. That's been talked about for a long time.
There's always work that needs to be done at the community house to maintain it well.
But yeah, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a second on that.
Second.
You may have a roll call, please.
Erin McElroy-Barker,
Yes.
Jack Molenaar,
Yes.
Kevin Morris.
Yes.
Leslie Newbern.
Yes.
Tom Kranz.
Yes.
Katherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
I'm gonna take
I'd like to
it.
call forward any members of the public that wish to make comment at any time or on anything. This would be your opportunity. And just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Richard Zito, 40 Forest Road. I'm the acting president at the Board of Trustees, the Fanwood Memorial Library. And I wish to say to the council, thank you very much for this wonderful holiday present in passing the resolution. It's been a long time coming, and thanking my fellow trustees, friends of the library, the community, council support, and getting to this point. We considered it a wonderful milestone, and we are looking forward in a truly collaboration with the council, with the mayor, with the community, the fundraising efforts, to realize a library that the community is looking forward to. We are just all smiles here, and we just want to thank you very much for this.
You're more than welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Mike Lewis, 41 Beach Avenue in Fanwood. A couple of things. One, a quick reminder that dog and cat licenses are coming due end of January. All you people who have pets, just keep an eye out for renewal notices. A reminder to the board, the mayor and council, that you're not the only one starting a budget cycle. The Board of Education and the county are starting their cycles as well. The Board of Education, if they haven't started their presentations already, will be starting them in January, and they'll culminate with a vote either March or April. And I know that you all only control 20% of the tax levy, but by the same token, you were also caught by surprise last year by the size of the Board of Education's portion, and all the more reason that you want to keep a close eye on it next year. I have plenty to say about the stop sign vote about 2 weeks ago. And I'd like to focus really on two sets of comments that were made at the meeting 2 weeks ago. First, focused on the notion that there's been continuing development along this area of town, increasing pedestrian traffic, and that slow is better than fast, stopping is better than slow. And the person who made the comments is absolutely correct on both points. A lot of that pedestrian traffic, however, is going to be on the south side of town, along South Avenue, along 2nd Street, along Grand. That's where the apartments are going up. That's where the density is actually increasing as a result of all the amendments you're making for the fair housing. And there'll be a lot of traffic that'll be crossing LeGrand Avenue to get to LeGrand Park. And I'm not advocating to put stop signs on LeGrand Avenue at 2nd Street and 3rd Street, but I would like to see embedded pedestrian crosswalks at 2nd Street and 3rd Street, and I would like to see flashing pedestrian crosswalk signs, because you're going to have an increase in traffic approaching the park. You have little kids on bikes, people like me who have recalcitrant dogs, and you're also having, as you've already noted, the pedestrians
coming off the train station, getting to their homes on any given day. And I've spoken in the past about how I nearly hit somebody about 2 years ago. I don't have to go back that far anymore. I can actually tell you about something that happened 2 weeks ago, right after the agenda meeting. I want you to remember, familiar with the road, 6 o'clock at night, looking for pedestrians, not going fast, keeping an eye out on everything. And you know what? I'm making a cold cut run over to Times Morgan. And I'm looking, far crosswalk, LeGrand and Second, pedestrian, stop, not going fast, which is just as well, because on the near corner crosswalk, quarter of my eye, somebody coming up the street. So there are hazards there. It's dusk, it's winter, I understand all that, but imagine if somebody is not familiar with the road, not looking, and just totally distracted. Something bad could happen, which brings me to the quote here. I would argue that you shouldn't wait for something bad to happen to fix it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
And Mr. Lewis, before you go, just a thanks for your contributions to the Fanwood TV.
You're actually watching it?
Well,
I watch it every day.
I watch it. He almost doesn't believe that we watch
I know.
the station. Seeing anybody else? Like to close the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. So this is our last meeting of the year, and I just want to publicly thank my colleagues here to the left and to the right of me for all the hard work that together as a governing body we have done for 2016. The town has benefited greatly by this great group of individuals here that bring a lot of professional skills to the table. We have worked on several new residential projects, commercial residential projects in town. We have worked hard on creating an open space fund this year that was put to the voters, and that idea originated right here at the governing body. We saw the evolution of how we provide recycling to our community, and that is in large part due to the hard work, again, of this governing body. We are looking to make improvements to our parks, and we've spent a lot of time on the master plan, but above all, we've had a great accomplishment as we are winding down the year of finalizing our affordable housing obligation. And I want to thank Dan McCarthy and his staff, as well as the planning board, because that was a months and months and months and years of not really sure what was going on with the lack of direction from the state. But we're in good hands now, and any developer can understand very clearly what their obligation is and the many road improvements. And we really look forward to a very successful 2017 with all the same faces sitting up here for another year. So, any other council comments as we?
I'll start out, Mayor, and I just want to say thank you to all my colleagues. It's been a wonderful year, and thank you to the mayor. We've done great things, and we still have a lot more work to do, so I look forward to working with the 6 other of you as we go forward for 2017.
Thank you. Councilman Kranz?
I'd like to thank the voters for returning me to office for another 3 years, along with my colleague to my left here, Councilwoman Mitchell, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah, which are both basically on the same weekend.
Yes.
Cool, everybody's celebrating all at once.
Yeah, actually, the Hanukkah lighting, the menorah lighting.
Which is the 26th, right?
26th.
Correct.
You know, on the north side of the train
Mm-hmm.
station. So I would encourage anyone that would like to join us, that we will be there. Councilwoman?
I think I would just want to say also, thank you for re-electing me. I think that it's good and it's bad. Maybe it's bad because some people think I've been here too long. But I think it's all good because I just love what I do here at Fanwood, and I do it for Fanwood. And I think Tom agrees. I think we all agree here the same thing. The same idea. We don't take the jobs lightly, and we do it because we love Fanwood. So Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Councilman?
It was the best of times, it was the winter. No, I just want to say happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I know both holidays clash on the same weekend, so you don't have to
I
remind
don't
me.
see that as a clash.
It's not really a clash.
Not a clash?
No, it's not a clash.
They don't, those
Collision?
holidays- No, they just.
By the
they
way,
just
Russell Hugo's house is
co-locate.
interfaith,
I was
so.
going to say, don't you
That
have,
explains
aren't
it.
you
I'm in it.
celebrating both? Are you clashing?
No, we're not clashing.
Okay.
There's a clash in
Right,
his
one who's
house.
living it.
We're, okay, we're managing it, so. Happy New Year, and I'll see everybody in 2017.
Councilwoman?
So I want to say thank you to all of my fellow council people for giving me a lot of advice and help, and I have a lot left to learn, but I've learned a lot in the last year, so thank you. It's been a rewarding year, and I look forward to another couple. So I still have a lot to learn, so I will be continuing to ask a lot of questions. But and then to everybody, happy holidays. To all the kids, have a great break. Don't make your parents crazy. And Happy New Year, and stay warm.
And just to comment on, I hope 2017 to push even more pedestrian improvements. I agree with Michael that we need a flashing crosswalk sign at LeGrand and Second. It's a little bit harder to do because it's a county road, but I did ask our engineer to give us a cost estimate. We do have some of these at Rutgers that I got installed there. They're solar signs, there's not a lot of electrical work, and you hit a button and they flash. So there are ways to make even that intersection a little bit safer, and I'm looking to do that any intersection. So if you have any intersections you want to look at, let us know. I'm glad to push them all in 2017, and I'm really looking forward to 2017 to start the next phase of what we're going to be doing with the library and working on hopefully a subcommittee working with the library board directly. I'm really looking forward to that and making sure that we have a library that we can be proud of and to give to the next 50 to 60 years of Fanwoodians. With that, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you. So with that, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.